I can't see my powers.
Press the options button.
There it is.
To protect.
Where did y'all go? There it is. Oh crap! The other way. Send me an invite to the group. Give you a chance. Oh, you're in an encounter.
How do I send you to a group?
Send me an invite to the group.
We're in
Get out. I know.
we all died.
I know.
Where are you at? I don't see you.
I accidentally exited out of there.
Oh. Well, it still says you're in the group, though. Oh.
Send me an invite to it.
Unavailable to invite players to the instance.
Oh well. I'll just wait till you get done with that one. I went to a area where the circle, and then thought that was the place in going to the encounter. That was actually the exit. I can't read. I can't read the words on it because it's so small. Because of the small TV. Need to switch my PlayStation back to the living room TV.
Be gone!
I think this one is tap hold.
Oh!
I'm literally built for fighting.
Ancestors! Oh! Oh!
I just uploaded new attack levels.
Oh! Oh! Die, wolf!
I still blocked it. I didn't do anything. You're still good.
What is it?
I'm getting attacked.
Be gone! Ah! Oh! Ah!
It's a real pas de deux.
Ancestors! Your gods cannot help you now.
Yes, love getting back out there.
Be gone! Ah! 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 Oh! Oh! Be gone! Oh! Oh! I'll cleave you in two. Oh!
Hey, let me give you a quick field assist. I love a good fight.
Ah! Ah! Be gone! Ah! Oh! 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 Ah! Be gone! Oh! Glory! Die, wolf! Ah! Ah!
They're one of really good at this.
Die, wolf!
Hey, in this Pokemon game, how do I get Magikarp to take me across the water? You need to teach it surf. teach it surf? What does that mean? Basically, you're teaching it how to swim. It doesn't know how to swim? Not until you teach it. It's a fish, and you're a trainer, so train the thing. I used a rod to find this thing. It was in the water when I encountered it. Doesn't mean it knows how to swim. I really think it does. And that's why you're not a Pokemon master. Hey, in this Pokemon game, how do I get Magikarp to take me across the water?
Bruce, no. Bruce, we need to talk about this. What I do myself is neither you or the League's business. Bruce, it's nearly been 120 hours and you have not slept. It's manageable and none of your concern. What do you mean, shit? You are exhausted, man! The serious... I got it. I'm done. The serious symptoms haven't even started yet. What the fuck was that? Symptom 7. Inner narcolepsy. I'll get over it. You have it numbered? Get on with it. I'm calling Alfred. We're putting you to bed.
From organized, get on my level.
How do you get worse than 5 days? Caffeine. What's that thing you say? Never-ending battle, right? How are you not dead? I'm Batman. Bruce, no. Bruce, we need to talk about this. Picture this. The Pharisees try to corner Jesus with a tricky question. Should they pay taxes to Caesar? Saying yes makes it look like he's cozying up to Rome. Saying no gets him in trouble with Rome. Jesus, like a wise philosopher, asks for Denarius, the Roman coin. He examines
I don't need an attack rotation to
Whose
beat
image and
you.
inscription is on this? Stuck, they say Caesar's. Well, roasted. This detail becomes a key clue. Jesus delivers his verdict. Render to Caesar what belongs to Caesar and to God what belongs to God. They're trapped and totally backfires. But why is that? Exhibit A, the image. Caesar's face in the coin breaks the second commandment. You shall not make yourself a carved image. So give to Caesar what belongs to him. The image. You, being made in God's image, need to give yourself to God. Exhibit B, the inscription. It reads, Son of the divine Augustus, a claim to godhood, violating another God. You shall have no other gods before me. By using Caesar's coin, Jesus exposes their hypocrisy. They use Caesar's claim to godhood on their money without a fuss, yet question paying tax to trap them. Picture this. The Pharisees try...
Surrender yet?
The fact that Jesus is God wasn't established in the temple of much later in Catholic history. Jesus' divinity was established in the that I've been taught. I went to Catholic school. And it's interesting that
Philippians 640 AD. Paul came 7 to 14 years after the death and resurrection of Christ. Okay? 325 at the Council of Nicaea. In the 40s, this is written, your attitude should be the same as that of Christ Jesus, who, being in very nature God, did not regard equality with God something to be grasped, but made himself nothing, taking the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness. Early 40s AD, not the Council of Nicaea, man. Followers of Christ, right from the get-go, simply as a correct nature. They worshipped him as God.
the fact that Jesus
Do you hear that?
You found in my dreams dying on my knees, Grandma.
Fine, it works. But days since the book. Why are they still laying them on? Why are you in a Silk Road?
Right.
I have a friend. Oh, a friend? Let's just say I've been setting up my own fire. Had a few bangs myself. You know what I mean? Please stop. Oh, Papa. I'm old, but I'm not. Please don't say anymore. I'll strap myself to a firework. Fine. Well, that was the last explosion. Well, not if I got anything to say about it. Wow. Big freak. I'm just gonna go back outside. Do you hear that?
I run into so many people who have walked away from the faith. The popular term is deconstructed. And there's people who are hurt by the church. They say, well, I'm still a Christian, but I don't go to the church. I have totally encountered horrible, idiotic people in church.
Get to the surface and find the old teleporter, and watch yourselves. Besides the mines and cannons, there are dregs everywhere. It's like the zombie apocalypse, fourth world style.
The big question is that faith can come off flippantly and rudely. So if you've been through this, I don't want you to hear condemnation in this challenge. If you've been in that spot of, and I've been hurt by all of this, either Jesus is Lord or he isn't. And if he's Lord, then the foolish, hurtful people
people that are in the church and around the church and in this world exist still, whether Jesus is Lord or not. That doesn't make Christ any less king. That makes them bad leaders. That makes them bad followers. That makes them angry, toxic sheep. The shepherd's still good. The king is still on the throne. I run into so many people who have walked away from the faith. The popular term is deconstructed. And there's people who are hurt by the church. They say, well, I'm still a Christian, but I don't go to the church. I have told me idiotic people in church that
Well,
have
I'm not
hurt
too
my feelings,
surprised
that
it
have
isn't working.
hurt my
It's several
family, that
millennia
have
old,
been
and this
horrendous
bombardment has probably
hypocrites
knocked
and
something out of alignment.
German
We'll have to
potential white
repair it.
supremacists.
I'm picking up third world tech scattered around the area. See what you can dig up.
You were trying to... Hey, DM, I think I found a way to insta-kill anyone in D&D. You're only level 1. Yeah, I'm a level 1 very sorcerer with the cantrip Shape of Water. Yeah, which lets me move a 5-foot cube of water each turn for free. Correct? And I can carry as much water as I need around with me in my bag of holding. Yes! So what? Well, I can use the cantrip to move a 5-foot cube of water over someone's head. But it's just a cube of water. Yeah, I can use a bonus action to quicken cast Shape Water again by using the Meta Magic Adept feat and freeze it. Wait, so that's a 5-foot cube of ice falling on someone's head, a weight of 7,800 pounds. What? It's a little heavier than an Asian elephant. With a cantrip at level 1. Yeah, in a single turn. And if I have a bit of time to set up, I don't even need to use Quicken Spell. Why don't you just... ADM, I think I've... Did you ever catch this mistake in Avatar? Admiral Zhao always said that they can't kill the Avatar because he'll just be reborn. Doesn't this actually work in their favor? Some fans are the last airbender. They argue that Admiral Zhao's decision not to kill Aang is one of the biggest writing flaws in the series. Zhao justifies his choice by claiming that eliminating the Avatar would only result in his reincarnation, so it's better to capture him alive. However, this reasoning seems absurd when you think about it. If Aang were to die, the new Avatar would be just an infant during Sosin's comet, offering the Fire Nation a guaranteed victory. Moreover, if the Fire Nation emerged victorious, the new Avatar may never have the chance to learn airbending or any other element under the Fire Nation's harsh rule. Zhao's logic becomes even more absurd when you consider that Aang would eventually die of old age and be reborn regardless. However, this plot inconsistency is completely dropped in books 2 and 3, suggesting that the writers themselves recognized their error and altered their narrative direction. Did you ever catch this mistake in Avatar, Admiral?
I can promise you, if you read the Bible, there is no specific explanation of how long God took to create and when did God create. Now, the Bible clearly contradicts. Evolution as an origin is true. And the Bible says no. In the beginning, God. Not in the beginning, hydrogen.
Actually, the Bible actually says that it's 1,000 years in heaven. 1,000 years in heaven is a day on earth, and a day on earth is 1,000 years. So, basically, meaning that whenever it says that God made the universe in 7 days, He actually made it in 7,000 years. So, yeah. From our perspective, it would be 7,000 years. But, yeah. From his perspective, it was only 7 days.
Where is the creative mechanism in evolution? It does not exist. Mutations? Natural selection? Yes. Did God create collies, German shepherds, poodles, Irish setters, St. Bernards? I don't think so. I think evolution has obviously occurred to some extent. So remember the name Asa Gray? Look him up. He was a botanist who taught at Harvard. He was one of Darwin's closest, but I can promise you, if you read the Bible, it's just the exclusionary aspect of Christianity that bugs me the most. I understand that. It's this whole bit about Jesus making this audacious claim, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. That bugs the daylights out of me. I understand that, because I'm born in the same culture you are. And our culture teaches us that that's narrow-minded and intolerant. And why can't you guys lighten up, be more open-minded, and Testament, you'll see that they don't all lead to the same place, because nirvana and heaven are not the same. So for me to conclude that they all lead to the same place is absurd.
It's just the exclusionary aspect of Christianity that touches me.
I understand that. It's just
Tom, you're a world-class athlete. How do you...
Jeez, thought hard? Why am I here? Ned Flanders, you have been a sinner, but you have taken the first step on the road to redemption. And if you accept the word of the Lord, it's me to return you to earth to carry forth the word of hope. Like that.
Jimi Hendrix is here for your guitar lesson.
Hey, man, you been practicing what I told you?
Yeah, I meant to, but I lost the pick in the hole.
Of the guitar?
Oh,
I don't care, baby. Jimmy gets paid either way.
Praise the Lord, I am reborn! It's a miracle. You recover without help. In retrospect, I should have tried CPR. Yeah, well, I'm a believer. Come on, fellas, let's go spread the good word. God is alive. Anyone need a vacuum?
God gave me a second chance, and as a sign of his mercy, he permanently scarred my beautiful, beautiful filth trauma.
Before Jesus was crucified, he prayed to his Father. If he was fully God, how was he speaking to God?
That should do
God
it.
is spirit.
Get back to the teleporter and get up
God
there.
to a torso, 2 arms, and 2 legs, and a head. God is not a material object. God is a spiritual being. That is why God can be in New York City and San Marcos, Texas at the same time. Does not limit the physical. Jesus Christ claimed that this God who is spirit chose to humble himself and become a human being. God the Son limited himself. That's the key right there. He chose to limit himself and confine himself to a body, which means when they nailed his hands to a wooden beam, it really hurt. He wasn't just a spirit floating around, but he was more than a human being. He was the eternal God who is spirit. When Jesus walked on earth, heaven was not empty. Jesus is not all of God. Jesus is part of God, God the Son, who humbled himself, took upon himself a body, but he was not just a man. He was God in human form. But he wasn't all of God. That's why he talks to his Father, and that's why he talks about the Holy Spirit.
One of the things that's absolutely remarkable about the Bible is that it's hyperlinked like that. There's a map, an image online that shows, it's a beautiful image, it looks like a rainbow in some sense. It shows how many references to each
You okay?
verse.
Yeah, it's just boring without you.
So the Bible is the world's first hyperlinked text, thoroughly hyperlinked text. All of it refers to all of it. Explicitly and implicitly, and the reason for that is because it's been reworked and reworked and reworked and reworked to be made.
No, you're not going outside.
Into an
It's too late.
an untold number of people working over an untold amount of time. One of the things that's absolutely remarkable about the Bible.
We just declared this circle of land to be a sovereign nation called
Freeman.
the fastest
No.
growing micronation in history. The United States opened up its first embassies in France and the Netherlands before they even won the war for independence, but then it took another 40 years for the U.S. to open 10 embassies. But Ireland has done it in less than a week. Our first embassy was at the Dolly Parton statue in Tennessee, but one quickly opened up in Canada and then in Finland, followed by Indonesia, the Maldives, Iran, Ukraine, Italy, Algeria, and Wales, which doesn't even have a U.S. embassy, just a presence post in London. None of these embassies, though, have been officially recognized by the host country, although we have been talking to Romania, and we think that this fortified church in Virtan would be an amazing location for our first internationally recognized embassy. So, if all 78,000 citizens of Ireland comment, "Please, Romania," on this video, I wonder if we could make some history.
In Albion, no matter where you go.
Okay, here are the ground rules. You can punch me, kick me, pull my hair. I am A-OK being stabbed. Biting and scratching are on the table.
One of the most beautiful descriptions of the love of God is in the Old Testament. It's the book of Hosea. Hosea was a prophet of God who was married to a woman named Gomer. Every night the music would filter into their bedroom window. Hosea's wife Gomer would get up, be the old man, walking the streets, searching for the younger, stronger, more virile man. Every morning Hosea would get up and would walk the streets, searching for his wife. He would find her literally beaten, sexually abused, lying in the street.
There are non-believers near-death experiences, and they saw hell with their own eyes, and they miraculously survived. And guess what happened to those people? They became born-again Christians. because they realize, oh man, this is real. When people are dying and they don't believe in Jesus, there are demons that start surrounding their soul. The demons take the person's soul and literally guide them and drag them into the lower parts of the earth where there is outer darkness.
I'm confused.
Confused about what?
Where I'm supposed to go.
When Jesus was in the tomb, and you know how he left the tomb because he came back to life.
Yeah.
There was a cloth that was folded and left on where he was resting, like his body was resting.
Yeah, yeah.
And scholars are wondering, why did the scripture specifically have to point out, and he left the cloth folded on a place of where he was sleeping? Check this out. So in Hebrew tradition, right, there's the servant and there's obviously the master. And usually what happens is the servant, when the master is eating, there would be a cloth. Now, if the master would fold the cloth and leave it on the table, the servant would clean up the whole table. What would leave what's being used by the master? Why? Because the folded cloth means he's coming back.
Oh, okay. I'll give you this brand new gaming console brand. Here's why Qui-Gon Jinn. I'll give you this brand new. Here's why Qui-Gon Jinn should have been the only survivor from.
If I prepare a delicious meal, set it before you, and tell you there's no cook, you'd laugh in my face. If I took you to Mount Rushmore.
The Bible teaches that we're saved by faith alone, plus nothing, minus nothing.
If I prepare a delicious meal, set it before you, and tell you there's no cook, you'd laugh in my face. If I took you to Mount Rushmore and said, hey, isn't it incredible the way the water just trickled down the side of the mountain? Hey, wow, there's George.
Security shield override now
There's
online.
Roosevelt up there. And isn't that Abraham Lincoln? Wow, isn't that incredible the way the water just sort of carved out those heads? You'd be outraged.
Security shield override offline.
Now, when I use that argument, I'm not saying science proves God's existence. Rather, I'm trying to use common sense to say, come on, fellas, you guys know that order and design do not come about by chance. Order and design point to an
Whatever, they went in without me. Stupid.
Number them 1 to 10. Drop them into your right pocket. Now, pull them out sequentially. I'm not going to stand around holding my breath for you to pull that off. Now, if you can't do that, simple thing, how do you expect me to believe that the complex eye, central nervous system, is a cosmic accident? I can't swallow that. There's got to be an intelligent mind behind it all. If I prepare a delicious...
The Bible teaches that we're saved by faith. A lot of people claim to believe this, but at the same time will tell you that if you don't have the works, then you're really not saved, or if you don't do works, then you can lose your salvation, but that's simply not true. The Bible makes a clear distinction between faith and works, and the two should never be mixed. The Bible says in Romans 11:6, but if by grace, then is it no more of works, otherwise grace is no more grace. But if it be of works, then is it no more of grace, otherwise work is no more work, showing us that it can be both and save us. The Bible says in Romans 4:5, but to him that worketh not...
Security shield override now online.
Faith is counted for righteousness. And Ephesians 2:8 and 9 says, for by grace are you saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of God.
Security shield override offline.
The Bible time and time again tells us that the only requirement for our salvation is our faith in Jesus Christ, and people that tell you that you need both faith and works to save you, just mark it down, they don't believe the Bible. The Bible.
You're asking me why is there evil? I'm telling you why there's evil. It's not because God created evil, because God created us with a free will.
Okay, suppose you're right, and everything, there is the evil and there is hell. Therefore, God created hell to banish the angels and Satan, right?
To destroy evil.
Yes, okay, right. But Satan rules hell happily, am I correct?
No, not happily.
Not happily. Then why does he tempt others to evil? If he's okay, committed to evil. Fine, he's committed to evil, therefore hell is his realm. He's happy perverting the thoughts of others to try to get them toward him. So if that's the case, then would God want to punish someone who does evil?
It's not so much that God wants to, but because God is just, he must punish evil.
Okay, so say, for example, if I kill someone and not repent for it, yes, God would send me to hell under the justice, just like hypothetically.
Correct,
okay. Therefore, would Lucifer be doing God a favor by tormenting the others who are in hell? Would Lucifer then not be God's friend in that sense? God's,
Security shield override now online.
You're asking me why is there evil? I'm telling you why there's evil. It's not because God...
Do you want your phone to be like this? Download this
Security shield override offline.
Ending of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 2 in No Way Home.
Hear me? You You did it! The chamber is stabilizing. That should keep the Celestial City safe for now. But I wouldn't recommend hanging around in there for long. Fourth world radiation isn't gonna give you any new superpowers, trust me.
Peter's neck, but Peter gave him a speech about doing change of heart and sacrifice himself. But I found it odd that Otto was able to have such a sudden change of heart, especially since his mind was being controlled by the arms. When Otto had Toby's Peter by the throat, you can see his facial expression suddenly change. I think this was the moment he left for Tom's universe and then came back. If you pay attention, Spider-Man No Way Home affected the ending of Toby.
This atheist says the quiet part is super loud. Check it out. Let me ask you then, if historic Orthodox Christianity were true, would you become a Christian? Define Christian. Following Jesus' commands and trusting in him for your salvation. Jesus said, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments.
Yeah, I would say it would. I would need more information. I would be.
So if it were true.
Yeah, I'm saying then it would depend on what his commands are, whether I agreed with them. So I don't think it's...
Wait. Sorry. So you're saying if God existed and you disagreed with his commands, you wouldn't...
Yeah, of course.
The heart always gets to say, pray for this guy today. This atheist says the quiet part is super loud. Check it out.
Let me ask you...
After Paul's blindness was cured by Ananias, Paul became a follower of Jesus. He started telling everyone about Jesus. Paul turned from being Jesus' enemy to a disciple. He was smart. As a Pharisee, he had spent years studying and memorizing God's law. He spoke Hebrew, the language of Israel, and he also knew Greek, the language used under the Roman Empire. He was a Roman citizen, which meant that Paul could go anywhere in the Roman world and talk to anyone about Jesus. Because of Paul's travels, groups of Jesus' followers were starting to appear everywhere. They were given a new name, Christians, and they began meeting together in groups known as churches. During his travels, Paul was being attacked multiple times, and other times he was being arrested and thrown in jail. After Paul's blindness was cured by Ananias, Paul became a follower.
When Jesus taught his disciples what true marriage was, they were completely scandalized. As a matter of fact, the apostles aren't just the normal people. These are his closest disciples. When they listened to Jesus' teaching about the permanence of marriage, about the fact that fidelity was non-negotiable,
I'm done.
they were so scandalized that they said to him, Lord, if marriage is like this, it's better not to get married. Jesus lifted up Christian marriage and explained that it is inviolable, that divorce and remarriage is adultery. Made a very tiny exception with the normative teaching of the churches. Divorce and remarriage is adultery. When they heard this, they said, it's better not to get married. And he didn't say, hey, you're misunderstanding me, guys. No, he said, let him who can accept the teaching accept it. For this reason, many are eunuchs by choice. When Jesus taught his disciples what true marriage was, they were completely scandalized. As a matter of fact, the apostles, these aren't just the normal people. These are his closest disciples. When they listened to Jesus' teaching about the permanence of marriage, about the fact that fidelity was non-negotiable, that there was no such thing as divorce, they were so scandalized that they said to him, Lord, if marriage is like this, it's better not to get married.
What is the greatest magic item in all of fiction? I don't know, the Sword of Wishes, the Omnitrix, the Infinity Gauntlet? Cool, all those answers are wrong. What? The ultimate magic item in all of fiction is the Mousecatool. There is no universe where that is the correct answer to that question. Just think about it. Within the canon of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, the Mousecatool is a sentient device with an infinite storage capacity, which in itself is pretty impressive. However, its most overpowered ability is its precognition. What? Each and every episode, it generates 4 items specifically tailored to solve problems that have yet to occur, with little to no effort, implying that it has the ability to foresee catastrophes and plan around them with a 100% success rate. Have you been huffing paint thinner again? You can laugh all you want. It's basically a get-out-of-jail-free card that can be used up to 4 times a day, which acts with such specificity that it can only be read as complete gibberish until those moments occur. So basically a wish spell with none of the consequences. Exactly! Your party is never getting this item. Oh, come on, the tap dancing rodent has one. Hey, DM, what is the greatest magic item in all of fiction?
I don't want to hear the excuses because the Bible says so.
Well, where would you like me to tell you to find out about Muhammad?
Enlighten me, please.
Quran.
Do not say the Quran. Do not use any sort of religious text as justification that he doesn't lie.
Why are you so biased against religious texts?
Because people wrote it.
I do not have a right to reject the Quran because it's a religious text. That's bigoted closed-mindedness.
I'm not saying that I reject it.
Well, it's claiming to give accurate representation of what Muhammad taught. And when I study the evidence, the manuscript evidence for the Quran, it's crystal clear that that's a very reliable document, the Quran.
How much evidence is there that proves it's right versus...
It's not wrong. The Quran is a reliable document preserved over the past 1,500 years meticulously. Now, read the Quran. Does that evidence point to Muhammad being reliable, or does it not? And do the same with Jesus.
I don't want...
Where in the Bible did Jesus say, I am God, worship me? In the Old Testament, God declares in Isaiah 42:8, I am the Lord, that is my name. I will not yield my glory to another, or my praise to idols. Jesus reflects this in John 17:5 when he says, and now, Father, glorify me in your presence with the glory I had with you before the world began. Jesus also asserts his authority in various ways. He proclaims himself as the Lord of heaven. He promises his presence in Matthew 18:20, saying, where two or three gather in my name, there I with them. Matthew 28.
I'm bored.
Authority in heaven and on earth has been given. John 16.
I sent you an invite.
Okay. Just a second. I have to get my dog. Cinnamon! Go. Go.
My name. I will not yield my glory to another, or my praise to idols. Jesus reflects this when the Bible says, glorify me.
Go.
Various ways. In Mark 2:28, he proclaims himself as the Lord of heaven. He promises his presence in Matthew 18:20, saying, for where two or three gather in my name, there am I with them. He declares in Matthew 28:8, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. John 16:15, Jesus states, all that belongs to the Father is mine. He emphasizes his eternal nature in John 8:58, before Abraham was born, I am. Where in the Bible did Jesus say, I am God, worship me?
So what you're asking for is someone who saw Jesus risen from the dead, did not believe in him, and wrote about it.
Not believe in him, but at least wrote it outside of the Bible. Wrote it as...
No, we've just been talking about how the Bible was put together until, 300. So there were many independent authors who wrote about this Jesus having died and risen from the dead. But you have independent attestation.
Where are those independent attestations?
Matthew, Mark.
Inside those books.
What prejudice do you have against those books? They're different, unique.
They're all in the Bible.
Well, that was until the 300s. When they were first written, they weren't together. You had this document Matthew, you had this document Mark, you had this document Luke, you had this document John, you had this document Romans, and 1 Corinthians, and 2 Corinthians. They weren't all in one book. You had different documents. That's exciting. It's fantastic. It's exactly what you're looking for. So what you're asking for is someone who saw Jesus risen from the dead, did not believe in him, and wrote about it.
Not believe in him, but at least wrote it outside of the Bible. Wrote it as...
Well, we've just been talking about how the Bible was put together until, 300. So there were many independent authors who wrote about this Jesus having
I joined.
died, risen from the dead.
Okay.
Forbidding marriage because my grandfather said you rape is critical. It's a very, very important one. Never fear that if you did something wrong, your mother would put my mom would beat the brakes off of me. That's biblical. But biblical is clearly right. It's very important. Kids that do not fear the retribution of their parents. Scripture says this repeatedly. If you do not fear the justice of your parents, for example, you talk to kids today. Why not? Well, my mom. Yeah, you should fear God and your parents. And by the way, they're substitutes for each other in the sense that the commandment to honor your mother and father so you can go on the land in which you're in is the test. If you cannot honor your
Pay attention, please. Why the idea of killing?
First of all, that's horrible. And secondly, time doesn't work that way. Think about it. If you travel to the past, that past becomes your future, and your former present becomes the past. But you can't now change by your new future.
If you go into the past and try to change something in the original timeline, all the things you tried to change will only affect which timeline. Create any branch timelines. It actually did, but that is why Captain went into the past to fix those branch timelines by putting the stones back in the same order they're taken. This is the reason why the TVA didn't interfere with Avengers. If you pay the idea of killing.
First of all, that's horrible. And secondly, time doesn't work that way. Think about it. If you travel to the past, that past becomes your future, and your former present becomes the past. But you can't now change by your new future.
If you go into the past and try to change something in the original timeline, all the things you tried to change will only affect which timeline, not the original. So the question is, why didn't steal the infinity in the branch timeline? Actually did, but that is Captain went into the past to fix those branch timelines by putting TVA didn't interfere. Maybe Thanos would work. He says something.
First of all, that's horrible. Secondly, time doesn't work that way. Think about it. If you travel to the past, that past becomes your future, and your former.
I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love. I become a sucking grass or a flame. Though I have a gift of prophecy, all mysteries and knowledge, though I have all faith, and I can remove mountains, if I have not love, flame. Though I bestow all my or though I give drugs of murder, and I have not love, love suffers long and is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not worry. Love not hate. Not provoke. Not rejoice in iniquity. Hopes all things. First all things. Love never. When I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, but
The thief on the cross, first of all, the thief on the cross, his name is Disney. What is his name?
Oh.
What?
Nope.
Nope, what? Oh, the maze?
No, this is no maze. It's sea breeze.
You don't want to do this one?
You don't want to do. You want to do sea breeze?
No.
The thief on the cross, first of all, the thief on the cross, his name is Dismas. We know his name. The other one was Justice. They actually met Christ on the road to Egypt when they were fleeing to Egypt after he was born. Robbing, but Dismas didn't rob him because he thought that Christ was so beautiful. His mother, the Theotokos, Mary, said, my son will rule over you. So here they fast forward and they've been thieves, murderers, and they're hanging on the cross, and both of them are blaspheming. Both of them are yelling. Then Dismas comes to this understanding.
You got a minute timer.
Testifies, right? And if he had come off the cross, if they had cut him down from the cross right then and there, then he would have lived a repentant life. Because obviously the Lord said that time to live a life for the rest of his life. He had only a few hours left.
Well, that's cool.
Everybody's different. You know, some people live for the thief on the cross.
Smash.
The thief on the cross, his name is Dismas. You know his name. The other one was Justice. He actually met Christ on the road to Egypt when they were in Egypt. After he robbed him, but Dismas didn't want to rob him because he thought
You killed it?
his
But the autologous, and my son will remember you. Here they can fast forward and then bring it. And the cross, it's both of them. That this comes to this understanding by grace.
On American Idol, this man is truly worshiping the Lord.
Oh no, it's Alpha. I am the Alpha, the Omega, and the Alpha.
I am all-knowing, all-powerful. I am the Omega and the Alpha, and my will be done. Behold my avatars and succumb to my might. Flame of change, grant me the wings of the eagle.
Let's pray for Katie Pitt, all of those who have drifted from the faith, that they loving arms of Jesus, worshiping the Lord with Mary's reaction. Check it out. Let's pray for Katy Perry and all of those who have drifted from the faith, that they can come back to the loving arms of Jesus Christ. On American Idol, this man is truly worshiping the Lord, but wait for Katy Perry's reaction. Check it out. With my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. If you pay attention, the MCU, and some even became stronger after turning evil. Here are the three most powerful and evil versions of superheroes. The Scarlet Witch. Wanda was already very powerful before she turned. Saw her able to break the Infinity. However, after she turned into pure evil. She was able to defeat all. Doctor Strange is Sorcerer Supreme. Vision is already. Heroes became villains in the MCU. The Word of God can change any murderer, fornicator, adult. Doesn't matter what you've done or what you've. Why no mask? Not to tell you how to do your vigilante thing, but it's a poor identity concealer. So buy me a mask that conforms perfectly to my face and doesn't affect my ability to aim or remove the gun. You should look into a compressible microfabric. It could be great. Oh, hey, and I left something for Oliver. Hope he likes it.
Initiating combat.
Why no mask? Not to tell you how to do. In the story of Jesus, when the Roman guards came to take him and arrest him,
Damage sustained.
The Bible says, as they accused him.
Systems failing. Performance impaired. Status critical.
Why is it that Jesus was unwilling to have a conversation, but he was willing to talk to him?
Critical damage.
So he knew any conversation with him was completely pointless and it was idle because Jesus taught us not to have idle conversations. He had to hold himself true to his own word.
Minor damage.
Pilate was open-minded, someone that had not yet locked in an opinion on Jesus because the Bible
Status critical.
Pharisees, what has he done that is worth for you all are requesting? So Jesus knew that Pilate understood authority, fairness. In the story of Jesus, when the Roman guards came to take him and arrest him so that he could
Minor damage.
interrogate him, the Bible says,
Systems failing.
Performance impaired.
Minor damage.
However, when Pilate
Damage sustained.
So I thought to myself, why is it that Jesus was unwilling to have a conversation with the Pharisees, but he was willing to talk to Pilate, and then it dawned on me. Jesus knew that the Pharisees determined to crucify him, change or convert their way. So he knew any conversation with them was completely pointless and it was idle, because Jesus taught us not to have idle conversations.
Critical damage.
True to his own word. However, with Pilate was open-minded, not yet locked in an opinion on Jesus, because the Bible says he was asking the Pharisees, what has he done that is worth
Damage sustained.
I never thought of it that way. Wow. Pilate was willing to be like, hey, you know, what did you deserve to be crucified for? So Pilate was actually giving Jesus a chance to not be crucified.
You didn't know that?
I didn't think of it that way though. It's kind of cool.
Oh, really?
I never thought of it that way. I've heard. I know the story.
Yeah, they gave people a chance to, or gave everyone a chance.
Pharisees really. The Pharisees just like they didn't care. They were just like they wanted him to be crucified, which I knew that, but like I never thought of it that. I thought Pilate was for, you know.
No, he actually wanted Jesus not to be crucified, but he was like, hey, this is all on you guys, not me.
Yeah, because at the end didn't he say, "I'll wash my hands of this"?
Yep, because he's like, I ain't gonna be the one that kills him.
Do you think because of the fact that he's the one that made the final say so, do you think he went to hell or heaven? Like, because
I don't know.
Just based off of that, not based off of what he did or anything like that, but like just based off that, do you think he would go to hell for that? Like for the fact that he allowed Jesus to go on the cross? Like I think it was within God's, like, that was God's plan. So I don't think he would be in trouble.
I don't think he probably would go to heaven, because he's like, I don't want anything to do with this. You guys are the ones that chose not to.
Yeah. In fact, he gave Jesus a chance, because he was like, hey, you know, either free Jesus or free Barabbas. Yeah.
And everyone wanted them to free Barabbas because, oh gosh.
Yeah, he was an idiot. I mean,
let's release a murderer instead of a person that's innocent.
Yeah. So there's no reason why Pilate couldn't be in heaven, you know, because Pilate gave Jesus a chance to not be crucified.
Engaging enemy.
And it was within God's will for himself to be crucified anyway. So
damage sustained.
Yeah, no, I think he went to heaven, because, like,
depending on, like, if, like, I don't know, I mean,
it depends on how his heart was.
He was a good ruler. He wasn't a bad guy. From what I know of history, like, he wasn't a bad guy.
He wasn't. He was just the guy that had to do the law, you know?
He had to make the final say so. In fact, there's a fun game that you could play there's a part where
but if he had saved God, like, Jesus, like, I don't know, because
that would be against God's will. Yeah. But the only reason why he gave them
Why
a
I gotta
chance
do
to
all
go
this
and
crap?
to see if they would do it is that was within God's
Grab
will
it,
anyway.
please.
But
Thank you.
but that was also within his character to do that. As far as Pilate, because he actually didn't think that Jesus was guilty for anything.
And he even had the guy that was next to him on the cross say, "Please remember me when."
Damage sustained.
What is it?
Do you remember that the guy next to him?
Yeah, the guy next to him on the guy that was
You will be with
right
me.
along him. Yeah, the other guy's mocking him the whole time, saying, if you're such a great and powerful God as everyone says you are, why don't you take us off the cross and everything?
This
and then
lion dude just decided to take me all the way across the map.
Minor damage.
And then the other guy goes. No. He goes. Don't you know who you're talking to?
Performance impaired.
No, he says also, we're guilty of what we're supposed to be here. We're guilty of what we did, but this man did nothing wrong.
Performance impaired.
Yeah.
It sucks that they had to break their legs for them to die.
Mm-hmm. But don't they didn't they break them after, or did they break them?
Jesus died first, and then they were like, "Hey, you guys are taking way too long to die," so they broke their legs.
Ouch!
Systems
failing. Yep. The other two broke broke the other two's legs. Oh wow.
Yep.
But the other guy, one of them actually ended up in heaven, though.
Yep.
At least, because Jesus promised that he was going to heaven. He said, "Verily I say unto you that you will be in the promised land with me."
Performance impaired.
But yeah, there's a game. It's called. I would not play it if you're like a child though, because like it's not a good. If you don't, yeah, it's a very mature game. It's I've talked about this game before, babe. Dante's Inferno.
Oh yeah.
One of the cool things in Dante's Inferno is what got me into it was it's a very Christian game. The guy who wrote the book based off this game it's a book called The Divine Comedy, and there was a guy named Dante Alighieri's, and basically his fiance had passed away, and he wrote this book about him going into the 9 circles of hell. Back then they believed in 9 circles of hell in their tradition.
Critical damage.
And basically in the book and in the games, Dante is a Roman soldier, and he finds out that the Pope has been lying to them about. He finds out the Pope has been lying to them the whole time.
Wait, why'd you go?
I died.
Yeah, and I saved you.
Oh, did I? Did you?
Yep, but you decided to click. No, it's okay.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I healed you just in time.
Oh well. We'll get through this. I had to switch to healer anyway.
Systems failing.
What did they just say?
There's no healer at all.
Damage sustained.
Yeah, I switched to healer. In fact, I'll switch to my full build.
Performance impaired. Minor damage.
But anyway, what I was gonna say was he's a Roman soldier.
Critical damage.
And he finds out that the Pope, this is like years after the Bible.
Status critical.
He finds out that the Pope has been lying to them all along. of this time period. And this whole time they're in like Jerusalem, and they're going and they're like slaughtering a bunch of people and everything, and like they're just soldiers, and they're told to do what they're supposed to do, and they find out that the soldiers end up finding out they've been lied to, and they've been just hitmen for this whole time. And that's his penance, is that he's killed a bunch of people that didn't deserve to be killed.
Brainiac is the master of all technology.
And
integrate.
He goes and he comes back home, and his home has been pillaged. Like, it's just been completely destroyed, and his wife or his fiance is gone. Like, it's just completely disappeared. And right as it's happening in the game, in the book, I'm not sure, but in the game, they show Satan literally dragging her soul down to hell, and he chases her.
Impaired.
He chases Satan and him, and there's at one point he because he's a Roman soldier, he actually ends up stitching before he goes to hell. He stitches the cross as a penance for his sins, and also as a reminder of Christ. He stitches a cross, the cross pattern that was on his uniform, on his Roman uniform.
Damage sustained.
It's a red cross on his torso and on his chest and everything, and that's his penance.
Systems failing.
That's his way of saying, "Hey, I'm guilty of it," and also I'm reminding myself of the cross.
Systems failing.
And the cool thing is, there's two weapons that you can get in the game called. You can actually get the Holy Cross,
performance impaired,
and the Death of
minor damage,
and Death Scythe. And you could choose to either kill. You can choose to either kill a bunch of the souls of hell, or you could choose to use the cross and redeem them.
Status critical.
And use holy energy or use dark energy. And but yeah, it's a fun game.
Performance impaired.
But one of the cool things is you could actually go. There's parts of the game where you can actually judge whether like people of the Bible, different people like Pilate was one of the first people. You judge them. It tells a little bit about like what they did in the Bible,
damage sustained,
and like how it affected Jesus and how it affected the apostles and stuff. And then you have to judge, did that person deserve to go to heaven or hell, based off of the tenets of what Jesus taught, or whatever morals you think is,
Now you have summoned the wrath of Brainiac.
Why they would be guilty.
I am the Omega and the Alpha. I am the sculptor of reality. Your
the only part that I don't like is the part where they
I
talk
shall
about
bring
Hades.
forth one true reality.
There's a bad one.
In my own
it's a very
image.
Catholic game.
Objective insight. Performance
They
impaired.
don't believe that the babies that haven't been baptized,
Systems
any
failing.
babies that are not baptized, they believe they go to hell, and I don't believe that.
Status critical.
And there's a part where I actually have to fight babies. I don't like that. I stopped the game after I played that level.
Critical damage.
I stopped playing. I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
Minor damage.
Probably one of the reasons why I had one of my episodes.
Damage sustained.
When I played that game.
Systems failing. Critical damage. Damage sustained.
They're actually doing pretty good.
Get a move on.
Status critical.
You don't even need the healer.
Minor damage. Performance impaired. Status critical.
Anybody who wants to search for God will find God. If you
Systems
don't know who God
failing.
is, it's because you don't want to see God.
You have earned the honor of being dispatched by my prime avatars. Minor damage.
It's like I can't hide you from the truth. And the truth is you didn't welcome him. He's a gentleman. He'll enter your life when you welcome him into your life. That's why he says the eyes that want to see and the ears that want to hear. Because you can have eyes and ears all day. All day, but you don't want to listen to him. Anybody who...
My favorite scripture about that is where Jesus says, blessed, he's talking to the apostles, and he says, blessed are you that can see the word and hear the word, but more blessed are those that can't, because they will have more faith.
Performance impaired.
Anybody who wants to search
Behold, for Brainiac takes many forms to slay his enemies.
How far have you actually gone to resist sin and temptation? The author of Hebrews says something very interesting in Hebrews 12:4. He says, you have not yet resisted to the point of shedding blood, and you're
critical damage.
striving against sin. And so he's telling believers here that they have not resisted sin to the point
Status
where they have to choose
critical.
between sin and death. But there's an interesting principle I want to bring to you out of this. Be honest with yourself. Are you doing everything in your power to genuinely resist
Critical
sin and temptation?
damage.
And if you haven't, you need to repent. For some of you, you already know. You need to cut some things off in your life. For some of you, you need to spend more time
Systems
praying,
failing.
fasting, and drawing nearer to God because you haven't been doing what you should be doing. And some of you need to stop giving up just because it hasn't gone away in 5 minutes. If you have lost the right to complain about struggling against your sin,
last, Brainiac's power will be mine. Thank you for taking care of Brainiac for me. Now there is nothing standing in the way of my true goal. Oh yes, my intentions are for the greater good. My greater good! I will harness the power at the Earth's core, the center of the multiverse itself. With this unlimited power, I will be the master of history, of time, space, everything!
That's the Minotaur,
Luthor,
and that's the Oh, so you're
I
just
told
gonna
you I'd come for
immediately
you.
identify everything on sight, huh? Yep, that's what we're doing. Kinda makes it feel like a bit of a rushed pace, though, doesn't it? I mean, shouldn't we let these moments breathe and build up these characters, take in the environments, let me as the main character figure out who these characters are alongside the audience, which is more fun for Myth fans? We don't have time for that, we only have 8 episodes. Why don't we just make the episodes longer? No, now let's get moving, you've got a quest to do. What? But we just got to camp! I said move it! This man in front of me is...
If they make fun of you, play this to shut them up for good. Right hand's very simple. We're just going to play each one times. Sound a lot more exciting. With every note, we're going to play our thumb on the fire note right here.
We're finished.
To shut them up for good, instead of playing both notes at the same time, we're going to alternate top, bottom, bottom.
Watch this video with me. This guy's testimony is super scary. 11:34. Kind of scary. Let's go ahead and play it.
Tell me something God did in your life personally to prove he exists. When I was 18, I kept seeing the number 1134 over and over for months. And I realized the number 1134 is hell when you flip it upside down. So I shouted out to God, hell? You're gonna send me to hell? Well, you killed my dad, you killed one of my best friends. I don't care if I live or die, so I don't really think you're a good God, and I really don't care if I go to hell. After that, I fell asleep and had a dream that I died, and I was standing in a room lit up by torches. The man walked up to me and looked me right in the eyes and said, I don't know you. Then he shoved my head through the floor. Dreams that I heard, the heat that I felt, and the images that I saw, I truly do not wish on my worst enemy. Then my head got pulled back up through the floor, and I woke up from my dream to see my alarm clock flashing 11:34. Go ahead and try to watch this video with me. This guy's testimony is super scary. 11. Why did we not learn this in school about DNA?
The DNA molecule encodes information in a roughly digital or alphabetic or typographic form. Why do you use the term digital? Well, because in computer science we have characters, zeros and ones. This is correct, 1957. It's the sequence hypothesis. You realize that the information in DNA, the chemical subunits of DNA called nucleotide bases, were functioning like alphabetic characters in a written text, or like the zeros and ones in a section of computer code. It wasn't their chemical properties that gave them their function, but rather their specific arrangement in accord with an independent symbol convention, which was later explicated in the form of what we call the genetic code. So we had genetic text functioning according to a code. Crick, by the way, was a code breaker in World War II. Whenever we find information and we trace it back to its ultimate source, we always come to a mind, not a material process.
What blows my mind the most is that this existed for thousands of years until it was discovered by mankind. Why did we not learn this in school about DNA?
The DNA molecule encodes information in a roughly digital or alphabetic or typographic form. Why do you use the term digital? Well, because in computer science we have characters, zeros and ones. This is correct, 1957. It's the sequence hypothesis. You realize that the information in DNA, the chemical subunits of DNA called nucleotide bases, were functioning like alphabetic characters in a written text, or like the zeros and ones in a section of computer code. It wasn't their chemical properties that gave them their function, but rather their specific arrangement in accord with an independent symbol convention, which was later explicated in the form of what we call the genetic code. So we had genetic text functioning according to a code. Crick, by the way, was a code breaker in World War II. Whenever we find information and we trace it back to its ultimate source, we always come to a mind, not a material process.
What blows my mind the most is that this existed for thousands of years until it was discovered by mankind. Why did we not learn this in school about DNA?
The DNA molecule encodes information in a roughly digital or alphabetic or typographic form. Why do you use the term digital? Well, because in computer science we have characters, zeros and ones.
Ooh. I'm back.
Okay?
Yep.
Ready to play?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
Hang on. Oh, wait, yeah. Just a second. I gotta take something because it's hurting.
last 2 hours. He said, you need immediate treatment. For what? Please.
You asked to see me?
Yeah, for the last 2 hours. He said, you're wrong. He kind of spaced out, all distracted, and he said that I don't have that, and that I need treatment.
Distracted how?
Like, he was looking around trying to find something in the air. I don't know.
What exactly did he say? And? That's it. Hypertensive. O2 sats are dropping. He's crashing. Bag him. From clearly, was talking about an excessive growth disorder like acromegaly.
Instead of just saying the name of the disorder,
I'm ready.
Erratic gait behavior.
adrenal insufficiency could explain.
Like,
You need immediate treatment.